Welcome, everyone. Please rise. Welcome, welcome. Please rise. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Doug Bolton, proud to be the president of the Rotary Club of Cincinnati. It is so great to be spending our leap year, our extra 24 hours this year at a Rotary Club meeting, and then how appropriate for in this year of 2024 to be focused on this meeting on the 24 words in the four-way test, founded in 1932 by a Chicago businessman looking for a way to bring his company out of bankruptcy, and adopted by Rotary International in the 1940s. Let's begin our meeting as we always do with the national anthem led by Ariel Miller and Janet Metzelaar. Treasurer Westbotto, would you lead us in the four-way test and invocation?
Thank you, President Doug. Let us pray, and you can bow your head, or as my 6-year-old would do, you can peek out one eye and see who's not praying and poke them. Let us pray. God, thank you for today and the opportunity to be amongst friends. Thank you for these young people who came to share their talents with our club. Be with them as they share their perspectives. Also be with us as a club as we listen to them and open our ears to their points of view. May we all learn something today, and may we all grow closer and better as a community by listening to some of the brightest young people in our city. Amen. Now, the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
You may be seated. And Dan Long, let's meet our visiting Rotarians and guests.
Thank you, President Bolt. We have 4 outstanding guests here at our Rotary Club meeting today. Darlene Underwood has brought Valerie Allendorf, who is a speech pathologist, and she is going to become a new member of our club. Valerie. Kelly Mahan has brought Scott Hall with WeatherPod. Laure Quinlivan has brought Beth Kendall. She's retired from the University of North Georgia. And President Doug has his recruiting hat on, and he has brought Peter Zuthan with Nordic Trading LLC. And I hope I'm not going out of my lane and I'm going to upset Michael Schatzman. But with the lineup of events that we have coming up in March, I am declaring it Membership Month. We have the CEO of Fifth Third Bank. We had the Jefferson Awards. We had the opening day breakfast for the Reds. We have a March Madness bar event. We have a coffee event. There are some fantastic events this month. So please, please think of someone within your cadre of friends that you think would make a good Rotarian and bring them to a meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dan. And with that in mind, just a couple of announcements. Save the date, but also plan to attend March Madness viewing party on March 21st. This is sponsored by the Rotary Young Professional Group. It's taking place at the Element Eatery. As Dan mentioned, next week's meeting is featuring Tim Spence, the CEO, chairman, and president of Fifth Third Bank. Reservations for that meeting are due by tomorrow at 5 p.m. We also have an announcement about today's meeting sponsor. So you met one gentleman from WeatherPod. So today's meeting is sponsored by Rotary board member and Rotary Due Days Committee Chair, Kelly Mahan, and her company, WeatherPods. I think many of you, yes, let's give them a big round of applause. I think many of you perhaps have experienced that product, got to wear it at a meeting a couple of years ago. But as you know, WeatherPods help keep you safe and away from the elements any time of the day, whether it's a one-person pod or a six-person pod. It keeps you out of the inclement weather, but also protects you from the insects and the sun. And Kelly and her company are doing a great job of expanding and doing great work. Let's give them another big round of applause for sponsoring today's meeting. All right, split the pot. Today's winner is going to take away $50, and the rolling pot is $1,668. Eric, would you do me a favor and pull a ticket out of this montage of tickets?
Am I allowed to accept bribes before picking?
No. This is a business ethics program. Thank you, Eric. The winner is... Color is blue. The color is blue, and the number is 390989. 390989. No. It's not Owen for the third week in a row. 390989. All right. Let's see if you can choose the Queen of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts for that $1,668. No winner there. All right. We are ready. As you all know, today's program is the four-way speech contest. And the chair of our four-way speech contest is Laure Quinlivan. Laure's given a few speeches in her life as a member of Cincinnati City Council, but we are extremely pleased to have her chairing this event. And come on forward. Let's give Laure a big round of applause.
Thank you, Doug, very much. Hello, everyone. Happy Leap Day. We are so glad to have all the people here from the schools and our celebrity judges. And we even have an extra celebrity with us today, who you've already met, Eric Kearney, but we'll talk about him in a minute. So welcome to our 9th year of hosting this contest that is about everyone's worst fear, public speaking. More than death, people say. Public speaking is it. Rotary clubs across the country are having similar contests like this right now for their high school students. And then the winner of the local Rotary contest goes on to the district competition. So our winner, whoever it is today, is going to be going to Wright State University on March 10th to compete against other Rotary clubs in the region. So here are the rules. Their speech has to be between 4 and 6 minutes. It can be about anything they want, anything they're passionate about, but it has to incorporate our Rotary four-way test, all 4 elements of the Rotary four-way test. So we've had our committee members going to schools over the past few months to coach the students on their speeches, those who signed up. So what I'd like to do first is have everybody who served on the four-way test speech committee, please stand up, committee members. Give them a hand. And my co-chairs, please come up on stage and join me. So we had co-chairs who took, one school at a time to be their focus. So they're going to introduce them in a second. Chip is going to be the stage manager, moving the Rotary flag behind the right spot so that when kids give their speech, we've got a good picture for Rotary. Special roles being played today. Our timekeeper is going to be Erin Faki, and Janet Metzler is going to be giving the cue cards to our speakers to let them know how much time they have. You guys will get a 2 minutes left, a 1 minute left, 30 seconds, and then 15 seconds, and you should wrap it up when you see that 15 seconds. So we are going to have our celebrity judges introduced in a second, but we have a couple of Rotarians who always judge the contest too. Our Rotarians judging are Mark Reckman and Sunny Lane. Thank you very much. And we're going to begin our introductions with McNicholas High School. So when I call your name, if you don't mind, just stand up and stay standing, and we'll give you all a round of applause at the end at the McNicholas table. First of all, we have our returning champion here from last year, Lynn Sandman. And I know it's hard not to clap, right, after each person. And the person who's competing today, Katie Clays, joined by her parents, Jason and Donna Clays. We have the wonderful faculty advisor, Angie Noble, and the new McNicholas principal, Bob Knoll. So now, give them all a big hand. Oh, wait, Lauren. Sorry, Lauren, I missed you. And our runner-up from McNicholas, Lauren Beiser, is here. Thank you, everybody. All right, Dr. Hux Miller, where are you? You're up here to introduce Walnut. He's sitting at the Walnut table, and he's been great. He is a Walnut grad, so he has a special affinity for coaching the Walnut students.
Well, I'd like to introduce our candidate, Quinn Ruthman. And then our backup, Malik Jadi. And then the principal of Walnut Hills High School, John Chambers. And then the coach for the four-way test, Madame Dorina Fox. And then her assistant, Fraulein Daniela Madzander. And then Jerome Ruthman, Quinn's father. And then Mika Grimm, Quinn's friend.
Thank you. And now our lead coach at Wyoming this year was Erin Faki. So Erin.
Hello. I would like to introduce our candidate from Wyoming. This is Junior Addison Miller, and she's here with her father, David Miller, and we also have faculty advisor, Allie Wisher, and principal, James Stalling. So let's give them a round of applause.
And last but not least, the incoming chair of this committee and our lead coach at DePaul Cristo Rey, Dr. Chip Carson.
Let me introduce our folks from DePaul Cristo Ray, our in-school contest winner, who you'll be hearing from today, Urialis Diaz Mercedes, and our in-school runner-up, Autumn Riccardi. Yuri is here with her mother, Alba Mercedes Ramirez, and her 3-year-old brother. And we also have our school coordinator, Stephanie McManus, and assistant principal, Stephen Cassidy.
All right, so and I also want to mention that thanks to the leadership of one of our committee members, Allison Kaufman, we also are presenting all the faculty advisors with a $50 gift card for you. So thank you to the committee members who chipped in on that. All right, we're very lucky to have 3 celebrity judges here today, and they're each going to have 1 minute to give a speech. We like to do this so we show you how, we break the ice with the judges. And if they go past a minute, Janet, will you go ahead and get ready? If they go past a minute, Janet, you just hold up a card and we'll all start clapping and we'll just clap them right off the stage. All right. This is fitting that this is an Olympic year. We are thrilled to have an actual Olympic gold medalist with us today. Mary Weinberg was in Beijing in 2008 running on the women's 4x400 meter relay team, winning a gold medal. Yeah. So that was the culmination of years of extraordinary challenge, and she now serves as Vice President of Cincinnati Public School Board. Mary has written her autobiography and a children's book, and she lives in Cincinnati with her husband and 2 daughters. And Mary, it is time for you to take the stage. Do we have a second microphone for speeches?
I'm going to put my phone here, though.
Testing. Yes.
Do I have to keep it on the stand?
No. You're free to
All
do whatever you
right.
want. Okay.
Good after. Oh,
Let's. Timekeepers, are you ready?
do I have time to run off the stage now? No. All right. Are you ready? You are ready. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, you can do better. Good afternoon. Thank you, thank you. So, for me, I'm going to be talking about why I ran for office or why I felt it was important for me to serve in my community. So I'm going to start off with the question of, have you ever wondered if you are supposed to be in a room? Have you ever wondered if you're supposed to have that seat that you have currently at the table? For me, I never saw myself going into politics. I actually laughed when I thought about it. And I'm thinking, what? Why in the world? Why would I want to do this? But then I remembered one thing. I remembered that I had a passion, and I had a passion for our youth. So I decided to run for office, and I decided to run for school board because I wanted to be an advocate. I wanted to make sure that I could be a voice for those who don't have a voice. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be someone that people could trust, that our youth could trust, and I wanted to make sure that I could be a true resemblance of Cincinnati Public Schools. And so you have it here, Mary Weinberg, Cincinnati School Board member. And if I had more time, I would tell you a lot more, but I don't.
Okay, I'll hold it. Oh, you timed yourself.
I did, and I went over my time.
It's okay. You were pretty good. You were pretty good. All right. And next, a familiar face in the morning, if you watch TV, if you watch Channel 5, it's anchor Megan Mitchell. She was a reporter and anchor on WLWT for 7 years, and then she got a promotion. She moved to Dallas. You can kind of make your way up here. But Dallas ain't her kind of town. She came back to Cincinnati, and you can see her smiling face every morning on Channel 5. During the pandemic, Megan started a TikTok account, and she has, this is no joke, more than 1.9 million TikTok followers. Hey, come on.
Thank you. Yeah, that was crazy. I really know I'm going to run over, but I also can hear a producer in my ear that's going to be like 30 seconds, 10 seconds, stand by, stand by. So we're going to try to make this 1 minute and 1 minute only. Ready? I'm going to tell you why I believe that Cincinnati is my home. Now, typically when we think of home, we think of the place that we're born and raised. Well, I went to college in Boston, grew up in Connecticut, but it wasn't until I got to Boston that my idea of family changed a little bit. I came out, my parents didn't really accept me the first couple of years, and I had to create my own family by recognizing that family is the people that love you unconditionally. So now I had to find a way to re-understand what home meant, right? Move to North Dakota, because that's where you get your first job in the news industry. That didn't work out, not fun at all. Then I moved to Cincinnati, and it wasn't until I got to Cincinnati that I was like, whoa, I am vibing with the people. I was anchoring Saturday and Sunday mornings, but most importantly, I was getting involved in the community. And I was talking to people face to face, and I was like, there's just this mutual love here. But I had to stay on my path, went to Dallas, and I'm back.
Awesome. What's really great about that speech is she missed the email that said she had to give a 1 minute speech. So while we were having lunch, I said, what are you going to do your speech on? She said, what? So that's a real pro. All right, so our final celebrity judge is Cincinnati Councilmember Victoria Parks. Before joining City Council, she served on the Hamilton County Commission, and before that, she was Chief of Staff for Commissioner Todd Portune. Victoria has also worked for Congressman Steve Driehaus, and she was the Major Gifts Officer for the Freedom Center. She lives in College Hill, and welcome, Victoria.
Thank you so very much. You guys look so good, and it's an honor to be here. So what I am going to talk about is my passion, my love for this town. I'm a native Cincinnati, and I grew up in College Hill, and I live there now. And so you all know about the resurgence that's happening there. And just the fact that I come from a family, my father was 51 years old when I was born. He was born in 1906. My mother was born in 1916. So we're a big Catholic family, so I think that they didn't figure out what was causing those babies. And so, you know, the fact just to work for community, that the success of the community is also a reflection of who I am and who those in our family are. So my message to these young children, thank you.
See, it's not so easy. Thank you, Victoria. Everybody did great. We're so happy that you guys are joining us here today. And we should tell everyone, when you go home at 4 o'clock today, you've got to watch Channel 5, because whoever wins the contest will be on Channel 5 live talking to the anchors today. So make sure you get home, or tell somebody at home to set your DVR. Okay, one last celebrity that I want to introduce. He's like an extra celebrity we got today. And that is former State Senator Eric Kearney, President and CEO of the African American Chamber. Just say hi. You don't have to give a speech. Oh, he's demanding a speech? Hi. No, you don't. You're free.
Hello.
All right. Are we ready? The order for the speakers was determined by that celebrity, Eric Kearney. He drew the names earlier today. All students who enter the contest, even those who aren't here today that just competed at the school level, are going to receive a commendation letter from Rotary. And the finalists here today all get some prize money. First prize is $300, second $250, third $200, and fourth place $150. All right, so our first speaker today is Yuri Mercedes, a sophomore from DePaul Cristo Rey. Come on up, Yuri.
Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. I'm ready when you guys are. Okay. Poverty. The state of one who lacks a usual or socially acceptable amount of money or material possessions, as defined in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. My definition of poverty is having rainwater leaking from your ceiling as thunderstorms cloud your surroundings, opening the fridge to only 2 eggs, and sharing 1 mattress with your entire family. My early childhood was spent in poverty. Though I don't recall much of that low point in my life, my parents always remind me of that struggle. I constantly hear rappers in the media claiming they experienced poverty simply because they lived in a neighborhood overpowered by gang members. Being in penury is more than living in a hood or barrio. It's not knowing where your next meal will come from. It's your parents going to bed hungry so you won't starve. It's being surrounded by buckets filled to the brim with dirty rainwater. I was always told by mi mamá y papá to never forget where I came from. My name's Yuri. I'm a sophomore at DePaul Cristo Rey, and this is my speech on the reality of poverty. How many of you can say they've consumed sugar straight from a jar because there was nothing else to eat in your household? How many of you can claim they didn't go to school because their only pairs of shoes were filled with holes due to how much you used them? This is a reality for many individuals in America, and this was a reality for my parents while living on the small island of Puerto Rico. Is it the truth? The Times magazine claims that almost 13% of Americans live in poverty, and a majority of those individuals are African American or Hispanic. Matthew Desmond, a New York Times writer, describes that the major causes of poverty are the rise in inflation, a lack of government assistance, and the exploitation of lower income families. As goods in America become more expensive, so do living standards. Life for those in poverty is a constant struggle because they can't afford basic necessities, health care, and even fuel due to the rising inflation. I will not deny that the American government offers food stamp cards, access to free health care, and even more government assistance, but that doesn't reach all families earning less than $20,000 a year. My parents, immigrants, and other minorities are often denied these various support systems because they earn too much money or they have problems with their visa, green card, or citizenship. In other words, poverty is a real thing in America that is negatively impacting the lives of various individuals. Is it fair to all concerned? Immigrants and other minorities don't only lack government assistance, but they're exploited in their everyday jobs. America is a society in which the rich get richer, and the poor are only made to become poor due to the structure of various organizations. As a result, nearly 23% of Americans work in low-paying jobs, which is only increasing the poverty level. And poverty doesn't just impact people economically, it affects their social lives too. When most people see a homeless person or a drug addict on the street, they won't ever bother to learn their story or how they ended up in that situation to begin with. So no, it isn't fair to all concerned, because society views those in poverty or lower income as inferior beings because we don't see past the dirty faces, ungroomed hair, and shabby clothes. At the end of the day, we're all human. And if I were to pierce every single one of you, blood of the same red pigment will flow out. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Treating those in poverty equally will build goodwill and better friendships because it will teach us more tolerance in our society to those who don't share the same financial situation as us, and it will teach us the importance of treating those in poverty equally. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Treating those in poverty equally will not only be beneficial to people who are in poverty and those who aren't, but it will also help our society as a whole. It will improve the consumer and producer industries and balance the overall quality of health. And it will improve that by ensuring that children my age have access to better education, to break the cycle of poverty passed down from generation to generation. Breaking that cycle and assisting various programs like Save the Children and the National Center for Children in Poverty will improve poverty and make better treatment for those who are lower income in our society. The problems people in poverty face won't magically change overnight, but we can slowly live differently to ensure that young children, niños pequeños, my age, don't continue sleeping next to worn-out buckets filled to the brim with dirty rainwater. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuri. That was fantastic. Thank you. That was a wonderful speech and so personal and important. Our next contestant is Quinn Ruthman, a junior from Walnut Hills High School.
I attend Walnut Hills High School, one of the most demanding high schools in our state. This demand affects the mental health of a lot of our students, including me and many of my friends. It's because of this demand that after failing one test in my 9th grade year, I made a plan to commit suicide. I made this plan because I was afraid that I had predetermined my future. I was afraid that I had shattered any dream of attending college and that I would never be able to up my GPA ever again. So I made the plan and was ready to act. Luckily, my parents found me before I could do anything permanent. My mom put me into therapy, where I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. I was prescribed medication. This was the best choice she could have made for me. In therapy, I learned to break out of my shell and address the root of my issues. I've also gained one of my best friends and someone who I trust more than anyone, my therapist, Liz Gray. With her help, I've been able to gain a newfound appreciation of life over these past 2 years, just because I've made it through my darkest time. It'd be great if everyone could have this same access to private therapy. And while our school does offer mental health resources, our school counselors are overwhelmed with hundreds of students trying to get an appointment. When they turn to privatized therapy, they face a problem. Most therapists won't accept insurance payments because they simply don't get reimbursed enough. What we need to do is completely overhaul how the insurance companies cover mental health in America. Is it the truth? Yes. 1 in 5 adults suffer from a mental health issue, and that's 2 in 5 for teens. We have a mental health epidemic, with suicide being the second leading cause of death in these young adults. Mental Health America states that the average cost for a therapy session is $120 per hour. However, insurance companies will only reimburse these therapists about half the cost, meaning even if you do have insurance, chances are you'll have to pay out of pocket in order to get a session. Is it fair to all concerned? No, the current system is not fair to all concerned. What most people fail to realize is that therapists don't own their own practice, so a portion of the money that they make goes to the practice owner. This means that if they were to accept insurance payments, they would make even less than $60 an hour. It's also not fair to teenagers like me, who won't be able to access privatized therapy because their families can't afford to break the bank to send them to get help. What we need to do is collaborate with our government in order to maintain fair reimbursement rates for these therapists. Will this build goodwill and better friendships? Absolutely. Everyone here is affected by mental health in some sort of way, whether it be you, a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, or your family. By accepting that mental health is a real issue, we will become a more caring and supportive community to those facing mental health issues. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Yes. Most therapists that enter the field will only last about 1 to 2 years. This is because they cannot afford to stay afloat. If we give them better reimbursement rates, it will allow them to stay in the field longer and allow more people to get help. I'm very lucky to be with you here today. Most teens that were in my position are no longer here with us. If we can allow everyone to get the same help that I will, it will 100% improve us as a society. Mental health is at the root of a lot of our issues. So let's fix it by addressing the problem and fixing the way we cover mental health in America. Thank you.
Great job, Quinn. All right, next we have another junior from McNicholas, Katie Clace. Come on, Katie.
Are you all ready? All right. One sensation that I will never forget is that tight feeling in my chest that felt as if I couldn't breathe when I endured a substitute teacher who ridiculed my racial background for an entire 45 minutes. When this teacher walked into class, he could not even attempt to conceal his obvious bias against Asian Americans, saying comments such as calling the food disgusting or mocking typical Asian features. Imagine if this was your daughter, who for her entire life had to constantly fight and defend herself from comments such as these. According to the United States, the national emergency of COVID-19 was officially declared to be over on May 11th, 2023. However, we all know life will never return to how it was before. This fact is especially true for Asian Americans, as we have seen firsthand how caustic the world treated those like me. This is why even years after COVID-19 is no longer declared to be a national emergency, we still have to remember the discrimination that Asian Americans faced in the past and continue to face in the present. Is this the truth? Yes, unfortunately it is. When Chinese laborers first came to the West Coast looking for work, the United States responded with the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act, the only American legislation that banned immigration and citizenship to a specific race. However, in the 1940s, a greater fear had taken place, the Japanese internment. With the signing of Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066, those of Japanese descent were considered enemies of the United States, despite over 2/3 of them being US citizens. The last internment camp ended decades ago, yet we are still seeing blatant discrimination of Asian Americans, as our former president often mocked our national emergency, calling it the Chinese virus. This very statement is what mobilized multiple Americans to harass and blame East Asians for causing COVID-19 and spreading it across the globe. Is it fair to all concerned? No, it is not. Think about it from the perspectives of many others similar to me. Why am I expected to not say a word when someone says harmful and false statements that affect me? I've heard these microaggressions throughout my entire life, but because they were so often normalized and repeated, I too began to believe that they were true. COVID-19 has exacerbated and revealed the racism that many Americans hold in their hearts. Therefore, this out of sight, out of mind mentality is a dangerous trap, as these past few years have revealed that ignoring this issue does not help, as Asian Americans are still seen as the creators of this crisis, a lie that also produces detrimental effects upon those who believe it. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? In this modern era, it is imperative that we connect with each other. Those who believe that they are more superior or civilized because of their racial background are preventing this connection. The linking of two worlds builds empathy between us, resulting in only peace. We cannot survive and prosper as a modern society if we do not have the ability to look past these biases and see other perspectives. The seeing of these perspectives lessens the possibility of global conflict, which the world is in desperate need of right now. Therefore, foreign relations start right now with recognizing that goodwill will only prosper if we as a society possess the ability to look past our biases, acknowledge our shortcomings, and vow to change for the better. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? It is distressing to see the change in viewpoint of my culture. The embarrassment I have carried throughout my entire life from comments such as my teachers will forever be ingrained into my memory. However, now there is the 10-step skincare routine that has millions of dollars in profit, K-pop idols that set the modern beauty standard, and the very technology you hold in your hands right now. However, despite the vast amounts of profit gained from these products, I do not see any changes in representation. It is reaping the benefits of Asian culture without supporting its people. I've tried to be proud of my differences, but it's difficult when I see news stories of elders being pushed in the streets or families being attacked in public spaces. It is distressing to know that I will have to hear these stories for the rest of my life. However, I've grown accustomed to it. That tight feeling in my chest never really goes away when I know I have the power to either stand up and prevent the repetition of these offenses or let them continue and happen to multiple other people my age. We as a country pride ourselves in freedom for all. However, our ideology changed as COVID-19 entered the conversation. Therefore, with every passing year, we are told we are improving the human race, yet we lie in exactly the same place if we do not acknowledge our past shortcomings and actively attempt to correct them. All I ask and I beg for is that no other child will have to live in this harsh reality due to factors that are out of their control. Thank you.
Great job. That was wonderful, Katie. Our final contestant today from Wyoming, Addison Miller.
Good afternoon. My name is Addison Miller, and I'm here to discuss a fundamental issue in our world today. But first, I'd like to ask you all a question. How do you like my outfit? I went for a very professional and sophisticated look. Isn't this blazer adorable? What if I told you it only cost $25 head to toe? Would you consider these purchases a steal? Or would you see the hot pink color fitting only a specific trend, and then feel the thin, cheap fabric one impending cat scratch away from ruin? This is our world today, a fast-paced, disposable culture. What once was a time where clothes could last and be cherished for years has fallen to short-term satisfaction with microtrends and too-good-to-be-true prices. This cycle is hitting hard, with no signs of stopping. Fast fashion is unethical, causing more and more problems with no care to find any solutions. Around 92 million tons of textile waste are dumped into landfills yearly to be forgotten. Now, is this the truth? I really wish it wasn't, but it is the truth. Fast fashion is changing the supply and demand of most markets. It creates cheap products, living by the motto, quantity over quality. These retailers use their resources to focus less on the sustainability aspect of a product. They instead focus on more products with lower costs and cheaper labor. This ultimately ends up with dramatically low wages and horrible labor abuse. Lee Nguyen of Masaryk University states that in India, 60% of the mill employees were under the age of 18. These kids are particularly vulnerable to working in sweatshops due to their past in poverty or future in poverty. Another main fact of fast fashion is that it enforces toxic means to gain profits. Annika Kaltwazowski, the assistant professor of fashion design ethics and sustainability in Toronto Metropolitan University, stated that fast fashion is a grow or die business. This means that retailers must continue their current business model or face bankruptcy. No improvement, no evolution, ultimately spinning the poisonous cycle of fast fashion. Now, I'm not anti-business or anti-profit. Good business is good for the economy, and in turn, all of us. But profits should be made through ethical and environmentally sound means. Now, can lessening our textile footprint lead to goodwill and promote friendships? Yes. Fast fashion places a burden on our nation, but more so onto the nations we support and affiliate with. On average, 700,000 tons of used clothing gets transported overseas. Around 2.5 million gets recycled, but a staggering 10 million tons of clothing gets sent overseas to sit in landfills. This is not solving the problem of fast fashion. It is only moving the issues around. By lessening our textile footprint, we can promote better relationships with these nations by diminishing the amount of waste we export. Now, is this fair to all concerned? This can be answered with a quick look around the room, seeing as everyone here is thankfully clothed. Fashion is so misrepresented in our society. Many associate it with the glamour of luxury designers and high-end runways, but that's a tiny fraction of fashion. It's for all of us, everyday people. Now, from personal experience, I know that shopping can come with extreme pleasure and serious guilt. Asking, did I make the right purchase? Am I up to date with the trends? My past, I knew nothing of fast fashion. The stunning deals of fast fashion called to me. They whispered in my ear, buy me, I'm cute and trendy. Buy me, I'll save you money. Buy me, buy me, buy me. But at the end of my sophomore year, when I was cleaning my closet, I looked down at this pile of waste. Clothes I wore once. Trends that came as quickly as they went. I knew I needed to change. Firstly, I educated myself on fast fashion brands like Shein, Romwe, and Zara. Then, I took a break from shopping. Just kidding. I'm still a teenage girl after all. I instead focused my shopping on secondhand and retail stores. Shopping used clothing is called thrifting, which can be a fun experience to spend time with those you care about. Another option, if you don't want to spend any money, is just simply trading clothes with friends or family. Or on the flip side, if you can spend more money, buy well-made clothes that can last a lifetime. Another option is buying clothing from companies that offer repair facilities like Patagonia, or buyback and recycling programs like Lululemon and LL Bean. Now, is this beneficial to all of us? Absolutely. We must break this cycle. We must lessen our textile footprint. We must ignore the sweet manipulations of easy money fast fashion organizations. We must stay educated on this issue, and we must understand the value of our clothes. If we can do this, we can stop the world from becoming a materialistic economy. We can save people from regret, and we can save our earth from the impending doom of textile waste. Thank you.
Way to go, Addison. Wonderful. Wow, that was impressive. Let's give them all another big hand. Okay, judges, it's time for you to go to work, and we have a really special treat while the judges are tallying up the scores. Last year's winner, Lynn Sandman from McNicholas, is here to tell us how winning the speech contest last year impacted her life. So come on up, Lynn. Her speech last year, her speech was on the impossible body standards for women, if you remember, but she wants to use the podium.
I unfortunately did not memorize a speech today, so just pretend like I don't have this. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lynn Sandman, and I am currently a junior at McNick, which is the same school that Katie Clays is from. Last year, I was also granted the incredible opportunity to come here and to give my own Rotary four-way speech, and it surrounded the normalization of diet culture and eating disorders. And it was also about the journey that I had through my own personal experience battling anorexia, which is a restrictive eating disorder. I ended up winning this competition, and I was sent on to Dayton to compete at the district level, which is an experience that I will always remember. Getting to watch students just like me present topics that they found equally as important is so incredibly inspiring. And the Rotary Speech Contest, it really taught me more about having confidence in my speaking abilities than any prior experience that I have ever had. And I will forever be so grateful for the impact that it has had on me, because growing up, I was always the shy, quiet kid in the back of the classroom. I hated conflict, debating, confrontation, all of it. I was like the definition of a people pleaser. Going into my freshman year of high school, I was just as shy and reserved as I ever was, and it was overall a pretty rough year for me, as it was also the year that my anorexia really reached its worst. Entering into my sophomore year, however, I decided to make a change for the better, as I was in full recovery from my anorexia, and I was just ready to completely separate myself from that person and to find who I truly was that year. And during this time, the opportunity of the Rotary four-way speech contest approached me. At first, I was hesitant, as coming up with a memorized 4 to 6 minute speech to present in front of an audience this big is terrifying. But after thinking about it for a while, it struck me that my speech could surround something that had not only impacted me so incredibly, but also impacts others all across the world, and I'm sure some of you in this room as well, and that is the negative impacts of diet culture and the encouragement of disordered eating. Talking about my own history with my mental health and physical health during my freshman year was in a way really freeing for me. The Rotary gave me the space to step back and to reflect on my own experience with my eating disorder, and it gave me the opportunity to share what I learned through my recovery with others. This contest was a way for me to develop confidence in myself and to present a topic that I had once feared and to turn it into something that I have now conquered. Since winning the Cincinnati Rotary last year, I have taken it upon myself to use my voice and to finally find myself in the mess that I used to be in. I can now confidently say that I have found my forever friends at school. I can state my opinion on matters without the fear of upsetting others. I am not afraid to speak up. Since winning the Rotary last year, I have also been able to apply this key takeaway to my everyday life, that I am a human with a voice, and my voice is meant to be heard. Without going through the experience of the Rotary four-way speech contest, I'm not sure that I ever would have discovered that for myself. And all that being said, I couldn't have gotten here today without the help and support of the Rotary Club by pushing me past my comfort zone and encouraging me to think deep. So for that, I thank all of you for making this competition possible. The support of my teacher and advisor, Mrs. Noble, who constantly aided me in revising and editing my speech, is also to thank for getting me to where I am today. And last, I just want to send a thank you to my father, who, no matter where I was in my recovery, stood by and held me up when I felt I was falling. I will forever treasure the memories that I've made with the Rotary, and the impact it has had on me will be imprinted in my life for a very, very long time. Thank you.
So will our four contestants please come forward back to the stage? And I would like, as Lynn received last year, a token of our appreciation from the Rotary Club. Come on up. This coin, made by a longtime Cincinnati company that makes coins, and on this coin is the four-way test. And also on the front of the coin is a picture of our beautiful skyline. We obviously are giving this to each of you as a remembrance of your day here, but also hopefully you'll keep this four-way test with you, just as it had an impact on Lynn last year. We'll also be making a donation in each of your names to the End Polio Now campaign, which is a part of Rotary International's major theme. Let's give them another big round of applause.
Okay, the results are in. Yes. And we only announced the winner, and everybody gets cash prizes, but the winner of the contest today is Yuri from DePaul Cristo Rey.
I would like to start off by thanking everyone for this opportunity. As I've mentioned before, I've come from a family that really faced a lot of hardships and struggles. I remember my parents always telling me about their stories when they first came to America and how hard it was for them to adjust to the struggle. My speech was more than just about the reality of what it's like to be in poverty. My speech was my parents' stories and their testimonies of hardworking immigrants that got to the top and reached success, that believed in themselves. And I want everyone to leave with the lesson that if you work hard, you can be successful. And I was always told by my parents that hard work is success. I would also like to thank my teacher, Ms. McManus, who put up with me and who dealt with me and would always help me revise my speech and dealt with my problems. And to my friend Autumn, who really stuck beside me when I was going through everything. Thank you guys again, and thank you too. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks to all the kids. You're all great.
So thank you again, Laure, and thanks to each of you. Rotary International's theme this year is Create Hope in the World. I think you all will agree with me that these four have definitely created hope in our world. Let's give them another big round of applause. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Laure. Fabulous job. Have a great afternoon. Meeting adjourned.